Our first speaker at this time we will start with is the New Mexico Lieutenant Governor, Howie Morales. Howie Morales, a Democrat from Silver City, New Mexico, is the state's 30th Lieutenant Governor. He was elected in 2018 together with Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. They made up the nation's only Hispanic governor and lieutenant governor executive team. To learn more about the lieutenant governor, please see the bio provided in the chat. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce the New Mexico Lieutenant Governor, Howie Morales. This is your time, Lieutenant Governor. Sorry for the time. Good morning, Lieutenant Governor.
Good morning. So good to be on with you.
Thank you for joining us. The time is yours.
Thank you. Am I ready to go ahead and begin to speak to the audience? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so wonderful to join everyone today. I want to say thank you for the invitation that you've given and the years of service that this organization has done. You've provided so many years of service in helping students, helping people from across the state of New Mexico, just like me. And when I have the opportunity to share a little bit of experiences that I've had, I always jump at that. So thank you for working with Jim out of my office to make today happen. You know, when I looked over some of the work that has been done over the past few years, it's amazing to see the productivity that's been in place and the lives that have been changed. And I know that many who are listening in the audience today are going to hear from some wonderful, wonderful leaders across the state and across the country. I want to thank President Nez for allowing me the opportunity to be here. I'd like to also give a shout out to our Congresswoman, Melanie Stansberry, who I had an opportunity to work together with in the legislature. And I can tell you that there's no one who fights harder for her district and for our state than Congresswoman Melanie Stansberry. I also want to just share just a little bit about where we're at today. And when we're talking about leadership and some of the qualities that go into place with that, I want to thank everyone also who's on this call for all that you've done during this unprecedented time. We've experienced a 1 in 100 year pandemic that none of us would have ever imagined that would have turned our world upside down. And for a while, paused our whole world in one way or another. But because of the resiliency, because of the work that everyone has done to take care of one another, we're here today. And even though there's some challenges that we're experiencing, I also want to just remind everyone that I don't look and see all the things that were lost during the pandemic as much as I look at all the things that we overcame. And when you look and see all that has been overcome, it's amazing to witness that we all banded together at a time when there's been a lot of disagreement, at a time when there's been a lot of different opinions about how the pandemic should be handled, what should actually have taken place, what should still take place. What we've recognized for the most part is that people are in it to make sure that we're protecting the health, safety, and well-being. And I also want to give a big shout out to my partner, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, for her leadership. And it hasn't been easy. And I've been part of those meetings when tough decisions have had to be made, but never once does she waver away from making sure that the health, safety, and well-being of New Mexicans were at the forefront of every decision, not politics, not popularity, but doing what needs to be done to ensure that we're going to take care of the people across our state. And so I just wanted to thank everyone for the work that you've done to get us where we're at, the lives that have been saved, and continued efforts to take care of one another. You know, when we look and see and share our own personal perspectives of what it is that helped us get where we are, you know, it's important that we recognize that none of us have gone here all by ourselves. None of us have been able to achieve all the great things that we've been able to do without somebody or many people who have been right there along the way. I often think of my own experiences growing up. Athletics is something that was very big to me. You know, my father instilled in us wanting to be out and be active and be healthy. And so we did that. And many times that drove the academic piece to help me want to get good grades, to be involved so that I could play sports. But I also see my church community. I also saw many who participated and volunteered in organizations across our community. And I think that that is really a tribute when we talk about the importance of coming together as a whole community, as a whole state. You know, when you look and see the possibilities that we have within New Mexico, we can never forget those people that have been around us, that have supported us, and always make sure that we recognize that we have the responsibility to do so for others who are around us. When we look and see education and the importance of that, to me, that's heart and soul. That means everything to me because it gave me the opportunity to come out of poverty, as many have shared with their own life experiences. But when I look and see how education changed my life, it was having the opportunity to break through this cycle of poverty by learning new opportunities of how to learn. And I often talk about that, of the importance of education is not what you know, but how you're able to navigate and what you're able to do to find out the things that you don't know. And I think that that is something that I would want to share with every one of you, because coming from a small community where I still live in Silver City, New Mexico, we had the mining area, the mining industry, which at times would rise and fall depending on copper prices. When the prices were low, layoffs would take place. And I knew how difficult that was because my father didn't have a job, because we didn't have an opportunity to get the finances that we were used to. And at that time, there weren't as many governmental supportive programs that can help families, but we did have food stamps, and we did have opportunities to get by with student aid and other type of areas there. And that's why it's important when we talk about education, of what we're trying to do in our administration to make education accessible for everyone. I focused many years during my time in the Senate to make sure that we can advocate for education across all levels, early childhood, K-12, and higher ed. And we've made significant impacts. When we talk about early childhood education, we've created a department that focuses solely on the most critical stages of a child's life. And that's early learning and care department for early childhood education. We've also made sure that we've invested and continue to invest in K-12, making sure that our public schools have first and foremost the resources to be successful, that have the professionals within the classroom who are going to be there to teach our students, and then to make sure that we have the funding that's available to meet all needs for all students, regardless if you come from the big cities in our state, the colonias areas in New Mexico, or their tribal communities. Every single student, that is their right to have that education, to be given with the resources necessary for success. Just recently, we've wanted to make sure to advocate and to discuss the opportunities for higher education. Higher education is key. I often was heard that college isn't for everybody. Well, there's a pathway for college to be for everybody, whether it's through career vocational education, going through higher educational opportunities there, or whether it's trying to get a 2-year or 4-year degree and beyond. It's important that you recognize that college can be and should be for everybody, and whatever path that you choose. And that's one thing I want to stress to you, because I come from a family, a large family. My father had 15 brothers and 4 sisters. And I often joke about it, and I say this often, but it's true in some ways, that it was easy to get elected as a state senator with a family so large within my home district. But of that huge family that we've had with many uncles, aunts, relatives, cousins, I was the first one that had the opportunity to go on to college. And I was grateful because of all those volunteers in my community that paved the way for me to go forward and get an education and become a teacher, and to pursue my passion as a coach, and to work in the athletic side, but to even branch out more and to be an advocate. And so for many of you who are first generation college students, for many of you who are about to go into the higher education areas, I encourage you to recognize that you can and you will be successful. Find yourself a good team around you, great support who's going to be there to assist you. And I think that that is going to be continual key moments that we're going to have within our administration to make sure that there's affordability and accessibility for you to go on to get an education without putting yourself into debt, as we've seen that's taken place, unfortunately, over the last few decades. We're working to change that. And under Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham and our administration and our higher education secretaries with our public education department and our early learning department, we're going to work in unison to provide those opportunities for every single one of you. But when we talk about leadership, I just want to spend a little bit of time because leadership is a word that is a little bit foreign to me because I've never really understood what that means. Oftentimes throughout history, throughout our trainings, throughout our discussions, we've heard of many great leaders across our country. Martin Luther King. We've heard of other great leaders that I can just quote off the top of my head, John F. Kennedy, others who have been considered great leaders. But what made people like that great leaders? And I often think of Dolores Huerta, who in my community, labor community, is very important because it is something that really brought people together to make sure they're advocating for their brothers and sisters in labor. And when I think of leaders like that, like Dolores Huerta, I don't think of them as leaders up there on the top of the hill, shouting out, beating their chest and conquering of others. To me, leadership is about service to others. And that's exactly what this organization that you're a part of today is all about. Service to others, providing service when people need that, to ensure that you're not just caught up in the title or the position that you're given, but rather you're passionate about the purpose of the people you're trying to help. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for many people along the way who have helped me, who have served in volunteer roles, that have helped under income, higher poverty students in the area where I came from to give us the opportunity to succeed. So when we talk about leadership, I want you to remember that leadership should always be about service. It's not of how I can be served, but how can I serve others? It's not about what it is that I can get because I have this powerful title or powerful position, but what can I do with that power to help others have a pathway for success? The reality of it is many of us have a story, and that story is revolved around, I believe, one single concept that I want to leave you with. And the most powerful concept that I can leave you with is what we should all strive to make sure we surround ourselves around. And that concept and that power is love. Oftentimes you don't hear the word love shared as much as it should be, because oftentimes it's thought that if you show love, you're going to be weak or you're going to be run over. If you're kind or you're compassionate, then you're not going to survive in the business setting, in the political realm, in the other areas. That's a myth, because we're all here today. All the successes that we've experienced has been because someone has showed us that love, kindness, and compassion. All the success that we've had is because someone has gone above and beyond to make sure that we have every opportunity for success. And even more powerful is the times when we may not have believed in ourselves, or the times when we may have failed, or the times when we may have come up short in whatever we try to do. It was that same love that helped pick us up and move us forward. And we have that responsibility to make sure we're doing that for others along the way. So whatever pathway you're going, whether it's into the workforce, whether into higher education, whether it's a career technical field, whatever pathway that you feel is best for you, always remember that there's those around you who care about you. Never forget where you come from, and always remember to pass the love forward for all those who may be depending on you that you may not even realize. So thank you for allowing me this opportunity to share a little bit about my experiences and what I feel about leadership. And I'm happy to stand for any questions when the time is right to be available to you in service. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for your excellent speech that you delivered today. At this time, we will open it up for questions that you may have for the Lieutenant Governor. If you have any questions for him, please unmute yourself. Think of it as this is actually your opportunity to actually talk to the Lieutenant Governor.
Hi, Lieutenant Governor.
Amy, hello. Good to be with you.
Yes, I liked what you had to say. I am going to be graduating from my associates in December for human services for substance abuse counselor. And then I applied at WNMU for psychology. This is all new to me. I'm 53 years old, and I was living a crazy life, you know, in my addiction, all that stuff, homeless, all that stuff. But I'm getting emotional, sorry. But I just wanna prosper my duration that I have here, you know. I wanna be helpful to whoever crosses my path. And I kind of been that way ever since I was little. I've always been a caring, giving person, and I just want to reach for the stars, you know, for and be of service to somebody, you know, to help them prosper in their life as well, kind of like you and Rachel are doing, you know. And but I always felt kind of like inanimate or like not worthy, I guess you could say. But I know that I am. I feel that today, and I just want to say thank you for your words. I appreciate it.
Amy, thank you. And you never have to apologize for showing emotion. That's who we are as humans. I think all too often that social media and filters and everything change the perception of who we really are. And I love that you were able to share that. And you know, the experiences that you've shared, you know, that's life. That's what many people experience across our world. And, you know, even in my own family, you know, I shared a little, my father, you know, he didn't graduate from high school. He had a rough life. He made decisions that weren't always the best, that made things difficult. But he also made the point that he was going to be of service, just as you're saying, to didn't matter what happened in the past. How are you going to make a difference going forward? And that changed everything in my life. And I know that the work that you do, and I wish you the best of luck. I'm glad that you're enrolling at Western New Mexico University, where I graduated from. And just want to just say that you can do this. And if ever you have doubt, whenever you feel like you aren't sure how you can go forward, please reach out to me, reach out to others who are on this call, because we're all in this together.
Thank you.
Kyle, you're next.
Hi, good morning, PTK. Good morning, Lieutenant Governor, honored guests. My name is Kyle Tapa. I work with Americans for Indian Opportunity. I am a CNM alumni, Phi Theta Kappa alumni, as well as a UNM alumni. So I've been working a lot with digital equity and getting a sense of community building inside New Mexico. And it is really, really great that you stopped by to speak with us. Your message was clear that New Mexico still has work to do. And I know from all the student organizations that I was associated with at UNM, it has become a passion of mine to help our Native American community. So I do a lot of urban indigenous outreach, and I was wondering what would our resources be for a similar project that the city of Albuquerque is doing, which is through NIYC. They're allowing students that are about to graduate to become interns at a state level. So is there any pathways that we can take? That would be the first one. And then for community service, do you have any events that Phi Theta Kappa can assist with? Because I also would like to start an alumni association. So this would be a great way to keep our alumni engaged. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you. Thank you for your work and the service that you continue to provide. I love the pride that you have in helping students and people from all of our Native communities, but also in your alma mater there at UNM. it's easy to see, and I'm glad to see that. I did want to address on those couple of points that you made. Yeah, I do want to make sure that we can have some pathways to internships that can be available. There's many availability options right now. It'll take a little bit further discussion. So if we can reach out, and Rachel, if we can just get Kyle's contact information, love to be able to reach out so that way we can give you some pathways to internships. I think that'll take a little bit longer discussion to talk to those options. The other piece, when you talk about community, I think that there's sometimes that misconception that's out there that in order to feel that you're actually contributing to society, that you have to be elected to office or that you have to be appointed to some high-ranking board. The reality of it, the ones that made a difference in my life and many of our lives were those that were in the community organizations, whether they were Boy Scouts, whether there were church groups, whether they were Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs. There's many opportunities to serve. I work closely with many organizations. I work with the Out of School Time organization, New Mexico Out of School Time Network, that I think would be great for many pathways of how we can actually provide more support and assistance for after school programs, which is definitely needed across our state. I also work with the Coalition of Domestic Against to End Domestic Violence. I think that that's an organization, and this is October, which is the month that they have a lot of activities, events go on. Those are just a couple of examples, but I can definitely put people in contact if there's a certain passion. And I would want to stress that, whatever the passion is, that you follow that, because that is ultimately going to lead you into directions of even more service and more public opportunities for helping others can provide.
Thank you, Governor. Any more questions for the Lieutenant Governor?
Thank you for speaking, Lieutenant Governor. I got in a little later. My name is Del Martinez, and I'm a business owner of New Mexico for 30 years, and I'm just now getting my business degree at SIPI. And thank you for all of those opportunities. And I would like to also try to encourage our Native American students to try to get involved with learning how each community has built their infrastructure. And I think if we really educate our young students how each community has their economic infrastructure is and our tribal infrastructure, I think that'll give us an understanding of how we can give and how we can provide services for these upcoming young students. I really think that I too am in my 50s. So, but what I'd like to do is I've taken classes at San Juan, which is Leadership San Juan County. And I really learned a lot. And then I was on the economic board in the Northwest quadrant. But there's really nothing going on for Albuquerque. I think the guy that developed the leadership program at San Juan College has passed. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I know that there's a lot of stuff that we can get involved with as a sorority group. So I thank you for the introduction, and those are my thoughts.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Del. It's amazing because you're living proof that you said you're getting your business degree right now, but for 33 years, I think you said that you've been running a business. I bet that there's so much knowledge and wisdom that you're able to share, probably even teach a lot of the classes that you went through. And I think it's just a great example that all the experiences that we bring all lend itself to learning how to learn, learning how to educate. And so look forward to seeing if there's anything that our office can do to help promote with the society, but also promote other opportunities, especially in the San Juan northwest corner of the state.
Thank you.
Any more questions for the Lieutenant Governor?
Rachel, if there are no more questions, I first want to say thank you. You work so well with our team. I want to do this on a yearly basis, and I look forward to when we can get together in person. I believe that we'll be able to do that in next year's meeting time. Please count me in, see whatever I can do to be a part of that. But until then, I ask everyone to continue to be safe, continue to take care of one another, continue to serve or continue to lead by serving, and encourage those that are hesitant about the vaccine, that they would choose to do so. Just this week, 2 community members who were very close to me passed away from COVID. And I just want to encourage people to please take care of one another and to do so in a way that we recognize there's a bigger purpose in what we're all experiencing.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for your time today.
Yeah.
Thank you.